Good afternoon, friends. My today's topic is one of the landmark judgment which is in the slaves of advocate on record examination of Supreme Court of India. I will discuss that one. That is S.R. Bommai versus Union of India, 1994. This is the case, and in this case, it clarifies the scope and limits of the President power to impose President's rule in the states under Article 356 of the Constitution of India. I can say that it is one of the most significant decisions in promoting federalism and preventing the misuse of central authority over state governments. Going by the background first, Shri S.R. Moy, Chief Minister of Karnataka, was dismissed in 1989 when his government was accused of losing its majority in the assembly. The governor recommended presidential rule under Article 356 and the president dissolved the state assembly without allowing Mumbai to prove his majority on the floor of the House. Similar instances of alleged misuse of Article 356 occurred in states like Nagaland, Meghalaya, Rajasthan, so leading to the consolidated challenges before the Honorable Supreme Court. This is the background. What was the challenge? S.R. Moy and others argued that dismissal of their government was unconstitutional, arbitrary, and violative of democratic principles. The issues raised were what are the circumstances under which the president can impose president's rule in a state. Second issue was, is the president decision under Article 356 subject to judicial review? Third issue was, should a government report be considered sufficient? Should a governor's report be considered sufficient to dismiss a state government, or should the majority of the government be tested in the assembly? These were the three issues. Honorable Supreme Court constituted a bench of 9 judges, known as 9 judges constitutional bench, in 1994 to look into the issue. So this case was decided by 9 constitutional bench, 9-judge constitutional bench, and it gave its decision in 1994. This court laid down significant principles for the imposition of president rule and uphold the federal structure of the constitution. This was the result. First was, the court ruled that the imposition of president rule is subject to judicial review. Secondly, the president's satisfaction under Article 356 is not immune from scrutiny. If the proclamation is found to be malified, arbitrary, or based on irrelevant considerations, the court can strike it down. Honorable Court emphasized that the proper method to test the majority of the government is on the floor of the Legislative Assembly. The governor cannot assume or decide that a government has lost its majority. This must be tested in the Assembly. The court further held that state assemblies cannot be dissolved before parliamentary approval of the President's proclamation under Article 356. The court reinforced that India's federal structure is a basic feature of the Constitution and Article 356 should be used sparingly to respect the autonomy of the state governments. The court recognized that a state government violating the principles of secularism could be a valid ground of invoking Article 356. For example, if a state government acts against secular principles, it may justify central intervention. So there was a great impact of the judgment. Firstly, the direct effect was curbing misuse of Article 356. The judgment limited the arbitrary use of Article 356, which had been frequently misused to dismiss opposition led state governments. This judgment strengthened federalism by restricting central overreach and promoting judicial scrutiny. This ruling strengthened the federal structure of the India governance. Thirdly, promoting democracy. The emphasis on the floor test ensured that the will of the people, as represented by elected legislators, is respected in determining the majority. Judicial oversight. The decision highlighted the importance of judicial review in safeguarding democracy and preventing abuse of executive powers. Now, coming to criticism, which in our free country, democracy, happens. Critics argue that the judicial process often takes time, which can render the relief ineffective, as dismissed government may already be out of power by the time a judgment is delivered. So, great judgment is worry for all. Then ambiguities in application. Despite the guidelines, the interpretation of the governor's role and scope of judicial review in specific cases remains contentious. Coming to the conclusion, as all the points has been cleared by now, I am concluding my remarks. SR Moy case can be said to be a milestone in Indian constitutional jurisprudence, emphasizing the principles of federalism, democracy, and judicial oversight. By limiting the misuse of Article 356 and establishing safeguards, the judgment has become a cornerstone in the protection of India's democratic fabric and autonomy of the state governments. So this is all about. Next time again, I will come with another case which is in the syllabus of advocate on court examination of the Supreme Court. So please don't forget to like and subscribe this channel so that you may get notification of the next video. That's all. God bless.